Or should I say good morning? 12:54 a.m. Do you ever wonder why I start these podcasts when I do? My life has always been the same. And maybe your life is the same too. We all work on daily cycles. What are these daily cycles? What am I talking about? Well, it's 12:55 a.m. right now on the trench of the Great Divide here in the Canadian Rockies. And 12:55, what does that mean to me? It means I have less than an hour until I start my new day. I have less than an hour left until I start my new day. And what do I mean by that? I mean that when I was born on July 26th in St. Catharines, Ontario, it happens every single year on July 26th in St. Catharines, Ontario. Unless they move St. Catharines, Ontario, it's always going to happen at the same time. And what time is that? It's going to be 1:41 a.m. And that is when, on that day, is when the sign on the eastern horizon is 1:55 degrees Gemini. And what is 1:55 degrees Gemini? 1:55 degrees Gemini is pretty much 2 degrees, right? It's 2 degrees Gemini. 1 degree 55 minutes Gemini. That's the ascendant that I was born under when I was born on July 26th. And it's the same no matter what year it is. It's the same degree. And what is that? Well, looking at my friends, Dane Rudier, someone was nice to publish his work. I'm not sure how much of a copyright there is here, unless this is actually Dane's actual page. But we go down here to Fave 62, which is Gemini 2 degrees. And what does it say to me and you? And it's the reason why I am the way I am. It's the reason why I've had all the complications in my life. Why? Because I'm Santa Claus. It has said this. I've read this in numerous locations that people with my particular planetary placements are like a younger version of Santa Claus. And it's a true thing. I absolutely love gift giving. I love hiding gifts. I love doing all this kind of stuff. And all my life, before I even knew this, Sabian symbol was here. And the Sabian symbol says Santa Claus furtively filling stockings hanging in front of the fireplace. And believe me, as a child, I was the one that kept the fireplace going, right? And I remember this is some of my early memories, and I've always loved Christmas. Who never loved Christmas? Yes, it goes on. The popular allegory refers to the spiritual blessings which come to the pure in heart, whose consciousness is likened to that of a little child, polarized by eager expectation and faith in the existence of celestial powers. The pure consciousness, as yet unsolidified by ego and rationalistic arguments, experiences the concrete manifestation of what it had imagined. In this symbol, Santa Claus acts furtively. The gifts from an imagined and intensely believed in spiritual world must not be examined closely or at length by the reasoning of intellect. The would-be clairvoyant is told not to look straight and intently at what he begins to see. Instead, he should cast sideways glances at it, since the sharply focused mind would make the operation vanish. At this second stage of the 13th five-fold sequence, we have once more a symbol in contrast to the one of the first stage, in order to discover the wonders of the normally unconscious depths of the collective psyche. The individual has to build the proper kind of vehicle, a glass-bottom boat, but the receptive of new blessings from the spiritual realm above. The superconsciousness requires mostly faith and purity of heart, and a common type of understanding, stockings, thus a state of innocence. And this is me, guys. not even kidding you. You know how many years I have actually said that I'm one of his elves? I'm not even lying about it. That's why I'm giggling like I am. Okay, so let's go on. Behind Dane, we have my gifts for you tonight. Yes, or I should say 1 a.m. It's the morning. It's wee hours of the morning, and somebody let me do this tonight. So I want to get through this really quick now. Let's look into the hourglass, right? Let's, if you're tired of that wide angle astrology, let's just do that telephoto thing and zoom into the future, right? That's how I like to say it. Okay, now here we go. This is what I have for you. We are in a time period where Saturn is in Pisces and Jupiter has moved all the way through. He's a fast mover, that Jupiter guy, I tell you. He covers a lot of ground in the time period that Saturn does. I tell you, now let's look at this. Let's actually see what's going down here, because both by the time the New Year's happens, and this is my Santa Claus message to you, once the New Year happens, it's really a new year. Because, man, the fourth quarter suck when so many planets are still in retrograde, especially with this Mercury retrograde and Jupiter retrograde in trine. It's like a soft spine Christmas, eh? Holy cow! No forward motion, and no, this is what we got going on here. No forward motion through Christmas. Christmas is when we want that forward motion, and then we have a Mercury retrograde that says, okay, it's time for us to something or another. Yeah, I'll tell you, let's re. We are the people that go re, because humans know Mercury, right? Here I am, I'm a Gemini Sun at 2 degrees. Hey, Mr. Santa Claus himself. Okay, so here we go. On August 19th, this is the chart you want to go at. This is what we're looking at. Under the pressure of the cosmos today, I was pressured to put these charts together. It was extremely quiet in Banff, and being so, while I waited around and while I was there steadfast to my position, I was able to look at the phone and from time to time figure out what's going to happen over the next 6 to 7 years. Now, we have to remember, Jupiter is more than just a little asteroid. He throws his weight around. He's not Juno. I tell you, that's for sure. Jupiter is the guy who wants to be a second sun. He has a gravitational force of 20,000 times that of the Earth, right? And remember, Saturn, even though Saturn is like all the planets except for Jupiter and the Sun, I'd say you could maybe fit all the planets into Saturn at least 1.5 times, except for Jupiter and Sun. But Jupiter is a bigger planet. He could take everything on easily. But the thing about Saturn and her partnership with the Earth is that, are you ready for it? She doesn't weigh very much. She's a bunch of gas. Yep. Saturn equals the weight of the Earth when you're going to press that thing together, right? And I'm not sure about I'm not sure if that includes all the rings and everything else, but I know that what I've read, it says that basically the weight of Saturn and its density is that of the Earth. So that's why he's a task maker, but Jupiter is really the mover and shaker. The task is to run that 100-yard dash in 6 seconds, right? Can you run 100 yards in 6 seconds, right? The 6 seconds, the time, 6 seconds. It's a little part of it, right? The motion, the energy, the movement. And then the energy expelled is Mars, right? But the motion and how fast Mars is able to move, right? That movement, that speed of movement is Jupiter, right? Because Jupiter, as you probably already know, Jupiter spins on his axis, and he spins on his axis in 10 hours, okay? He's a mover and shaker. He's a mover, but he weighs a lot. He has a lot of weight, and when he moves from one point to another, or if he is an aspect of something, especially with someone like Saturn, who has the weight that it has, we're going to feel that, right? You're going to actually feel that. When Jupiter lines up with something, you're going to feel that, like an earthquake. You're going to feel that earthquake, even though the sun's responsible for the major effort, but Jupiter has to be there for the movement, right? That movement. And the soil on the earth itself, the earth in the earthquake, the shake is Jupiter. The unexpected motion of it, the unexpected timing of it is Uranus, right? The devastation and the destruction is Saturn, right? But let me tell you right here, we have to look at these kind of things when we see something like Jupiter and Mars, I call it, is actually squared Saturn for this go, right? These are exact motions. Whenever I cast these charts, what is very important to me is what is on that ascendant within 4 minutes, right? Because as you know, it takes 4 minutes for us to move through 1 degree, okay? So when we have Scorpio on the ascendant, we have to look at Mars and we have to look at Pluto and look at that. Pluto is going to be not quite trine Jupiter, right? But he will trine Jupiter, and Pluto will trine, and that is a completely different podcast, okay? The trines and squares of Jupiter, what have you. Right now, what we're going to look at is we're going to go right through time here. I've got these charts here so you could have them. You could pause the video and write down the time periods. And look, I'm at Mountain Standard Time, right? So that way you can reposition these times to your place, and you're going to want to move back and forth. This is done. These charts are done with the Astro Gold program on the iPhone. And the reason why I did these because I really like how the retrogrades are. You're able to set the retrogrades, and I really like this dark theme. But I even got some asteroids in here for you, just for all those asteroid lovers. But the time is the thing. That's what you want. You want to see what the time is, and then mix it to your location, all right? And this will help you to understand, because it's very simple. Squares are friction, right? Squares promote change, right? Sometimes change doesn't come the way you like it, but the change is there. And 2024 is all about all kinds of change, right? Because Jupiter will move into Gemini, and that will be a change. From being in Taurus, we will all be welcoming him. But we also have Uranus, who's going to be sitting there on the cusp of Gemini. He's going to hang out there. It's going to take him another year to get over there, right? And that is going to be even more great change for the air and fire signs. So, what you have to do here is you have to do your charts. I am not going to give any generalized forecast on my channel because I stopped and I unfollowed an astrologer that does do a good job. You know, they do work. This person does work hard. And all astrologers I see out there, they are doing their job. They're trying to work hard. But these generalized predictions are a waste of time because we're individuals. I mean, we're all placed. I really do read a lot of Dane Rudier, and where I am is the most important part of what's going on that eastern horizon, right? You see a generalized, because the Earth isn't perfectly round, and that's one of the reasons why I go with this house format, this Placidicus house format, because I know the Earth isn't round. And believe me, I have a very huge 5th house, and I have a very huge 6th house. And that's the reason why I'm always creative and at work, right? So here we go here. We're going to move through here. This is 2024. This is the square. And as I said before, planets keep on moving, right? So these will go, then the the next one would be the next aspect for Jupiter in the distance, which would be 2026, which is a very year. This one actually caught my eye, simply because, as I said before in my other charts, my other podcast here in this playlist, I'm born, and I want to, before I move forward, I want to say I'm sorry about last night. I was distracted, and I said that for the chart that I cast for Christ, his Mars was at 12 degrees Leo, but that was wrong. I was distracted by something that was going on in my room, and basically I meant that the chart that I have for the birth of Christ that I have in the most recent video, the Mars was at 12 degrees Virgo, and that actually conjuncts my Venus at 10 degrees Virgo. And that's what I meant to say. I'm sorry about that. So I have that correction there. Let's move forward, okay? I'm a Mercury retrograde. Sorry, there I am. It's a Mercury retrograde right now, and I'm a Gemini at 2 degrees, and Mercury's my ruling planet, so sometimes I will get my tongue tangled with how much communications are sitting in my head that's stored up over a complete day of looking at charts. Okay, so please forgive me, and I will try to be as clear as possible and work on, and I'm constantly thinking about that. I'm constantly thinking about the fact that my moon is in Pisces and I'm a Leo, which means I'm born after the full moon. So my moon has that challenge, right? I'm not this person born before the full moon where that moon is really waxing, right? So I have to work on that part of my speech. And then also I have to work on the fact that my Saturn in my life, which my Saturn is at 13, my natal Saturn is at 13 degrees Aries, and it is squared my Mercury in my second house. So that causes all kinds of problems, okay? And sometimes it may mean that I might say or I might stutter, or I might forget how to pronounce something because I have this square that Abraham Lincoln had the same difficulty. He had a Mercury squared or opposite Saturn in his chart. But he wasn't a quitter, just like me. Okay, so as I said before, when you have a Mercury, when there's a harsh angle, there's more determination. There's delay, especially with Saturn and Aries, there's delay. So Mercury becomes, there's determination in my heart, right? The more I don't proceed, the more I'm more determined in the next day to overcome what I didn't overcome today. So let's overcome this episode and get on with it. Right here we are looking at this beautiful trine of Saturn and Jupiter together, and this is great. This is actually beautiful. To see this for 2026, to see this, to look at this trine and to see it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. The trine is right there, beautiful, like at 13 degrees 41 minutes. It's I got it right set there, and the reason why I really like this is because the trine is actually has a harmonious angle to the ascendant of Sagittarius on the ascendant at 16 degrees, right? So that is remember, with Sagittarius on the ascendant, very important to see this. It makes Jupiter the ruler of the chart, right? So always look at the sun, and then the moon, and then most importantly, which house and what Jupiter is actually doing. He's in the house of Scorpio with Leo overlap. Excuse me. I'm not drinking anything tonight, and I should have had a little glass of water with me. So, moving on here, let's move forward very quickly. This is a very interesting chart to look at because we have Pluto, who is at 3 degrees Aquarius for this. You can see how slow he moves. I mean, this is 2026. This is 2 years, and Pluto is still just at 3 degrees Aquarius. And that's 2 years from now, right? And this is in August 31st, right? August 31st, he does this. The sun's just moved into Virgo, which, see, you can see this Virgo. This is why it really caught my eye, because the sun is in Virgo for this trine. And then also, what is really beautiful about this is that the sun is actually conjunct my natal Venus. So I look at these things, and also Mercury is conjunct my natal Venus as well. So yeah, I have 3 planets. I have 3 planets in Virgo, which is the Virgo. I have a Virgo Venus, a Virgo Uranus, and a Virgo Pluto, right? Very, very powerful combination, and they're in Virgo, but they're in my 5th house, right? So a lot of artists have this type of setting. Just ask Princess Diana, who had a Venus in the 5th house. So here we go. Let's move forward here. Very, very cool day to look at. This could be a very heater of a day because we have a lot of Aries. And plus, most importantly, look at this right here. We have a Neptune and Pluto sextile. There is a lot of stuff going on here, but we still got our squares and stuff. So this is another date that you really have to look at. You really want to get ready for these weeks, right? So let's move on to the next chart to make this a really snappy and quick live event for you. Unedited and right off the cuff. Okay, so here we go. Chart number 3, 2028. It's every 2 years or so. And what are we looking at here? Now we're looking at Jupiter's moving around. He makes a very strong opposition with Neptune, right? This is in 2028. So when you're looking at the degrees of these, like this really caught my eye. And when I say about my eye, you should see how the chart actually works with you. As I said before, take these times and erect charts that are where you are living, and then place them against your chart, and then because these are the transits, right? And if you want to look at if you want to progress your chart and look at them, you could do that as well. But I noticed this was a very interesting chart because one, we have the Sun in Libra. I have a part of fortune at 8 degrees Libra. Okay, so this one looked very interesting because to me, because Neptune is opposed to my part of fortune at Libra, but Jupiter is conjunct my part of fortune. Whoops, what did I just do here? Let's go here, back again. Sorry about that, folks. I hurt your eyes. So once again, it's a little wonky. It's a little tricky. There might be some kind of hair that's underneath my mouse or something. Okay, so here we go. Hope there's hair underneath the mouse. I mean, how the mouse might get cold, right? So let's go on and let's look at this. As I had said, Jupiter's my guy, right? I'm like Santa Claus. I am a real living, breathing custodian of time, right? Here I am. Looking out for all those who are naughty and nice. And believe me, once I'm sitting here looking at this, and the Father shows me these things, when I'm reading through this, I could be having just a tough day dealing with civilization just like you. And then when I sit back here and I, basically reflect about the day and looking at how things are going, and I know it's a Mercury retrograde, and I know that really irritates me because I am a Gemini ascendant and I want Mercury to be going forward. And all the regular Mercury retrograde stuff just bothers the heck out of me, right? And I try to plan on this, and no matter how much I plan to try to have everything wrapped up for these retrograde periods, because Mercury is a ruling planet of me being a Gemini ascendant, I still have to work at this, right? It's still annoying, and I don't like these times, and they're very expensive times. I've always find that Mercury retrograde, like I find being a Gemini ascendant, when Mercury goes retrograde, a good amount of what I gain while he's direct, I could lose a third of that, right? There's always that back step, it seems like, when they're like a delay, right? So, and I know this, I know my idiosyncrasies, eh? I know my failures and my personal character traits because of my Mercury square Saturn, right? And you work at these things. You constantly think about it, so you work at these things to be a better role model for us all. Okay, so where are we at here? So this is the Jupiter trine Aries, or Jupiter trine Saturn, excuse me. Now we've moved to the Jupiter Libra opposed Neptune in Aries. Okay, here's this right here. And then now we have our Jupiter Sagittarius opposed Saturn and Gemini. Okay, and look at this. I mean, as I said, look at now this chart. This is for 2031. And this is a really big chart for me because I will actually, my ascendant will be progressed Leo by this time. So I'm actually looking forward to this because I'm fed up with this Cancer progression, right? Holy cow, there's nothing more emotional than having to progress through Cancer. Such a watery place, right? I want things, I was never as teary-eyed. I was never as teary-eyed before I came home. And once I came home to Canada, I got all teary-eyed because just the warmth and the acceptance of the U.S. wasn't there anymore because I didn't grow up in Canada, so these people didn't love me because I was once the bad. I know I was. Until I came here, and now what I'm dealing with is basically a country that I'm born in, but nobody knows because I didn't grow up here. Right? What a horrible time, especially if you're a valedictorian in a different country because you grew up there, right? Okay, so what we look in here, look at this final chart that we're looking at. Go back over here. The second to final chart, my fault. On the moment when Jupiter opposes a retrograde Saturn, this is the first time he catches up to Saturn, and it was a little bit of a job to get this right moment right here. I found this very interesting. As I said, the Father likes to leave solid breadcrumbs. And here is the breadcrumb. Jupiter for 2031, for October 6th, which is definitely a Libra time zone. Yep. And look at this. Look at this. We have this Sun in Libra. Holy cow. Could this actually be on you know whose birthday? Yes. 2031. Will Putin still be alive? This is the question here, folks, because on this Jupiter-Saturn opposition, now once again, Jupiter is the planet that is co-ruling the United States. The United States has a Sagittarius ascendant. So here we are in 2031. Jupiter's at 23 degrees, opposed Saturn at 23 degrees. Jupiter is the planet that rules the ascendant for the U.S. And then here we have it being, it looks like very close to Putin's solar return, right? Putin's solar return. And what do we have? Because I'm pretty sure Putin is a Libra at 13 degrees. And then what do we have? Holy cow, I went the wrong way. I hope it didn't hurt your eyes. And what do we have here? We have this kit. We have these guys right on the descendant, right? Holy cow, the ascendant and the descendant. The Father is there showing us. Am I not kidding or am I not kidding? I mean, I do not make up these charts. These are exact times. This is here in Banff. So what is it going to be like? What time? Like the time should be very similar. I mean, where you are, right? draw this time up this degree where you are and check out what the ascendant's going to be there. Okay, so we're off to the last chart here. This first chart is a lot. We will be able to come back with these charts, right? But these are little Easter eggs. And what you really should do is find out how these planets sit in these circumstances, these dates. Find out how they actually sit in your chart. Go to astro.com. The charts are free. I pay like $12 a year to have like 1,000 charts, right? And believe me, I'm working hard to fill it up. But I also still have the Astro Gold. The other Astro Gold program I'm not completely fond of, even though it has too much. It's just I find it cumbersome. I find it cumbersome turning the retrogrades on, right? With the desktop version. I've always found this. So here we go. And I'm on the phone all the time anyway. I'm not always at the desktop. So it's easy for me to send these over. And I like how easy it is just to flick the retrogrades on. Because I like to look at planetary retrogrades. They're very important. Finally, the last chart we look at for this evening. to not completely bore you too much with my podcast. I'll get more images and stuff like this. I got a beautiful program uh, set out for you guys, but I just have to get time to organize all the fun stuff to add all the glitz to this to make this a more interesting time. And what I'm actually doing here is once we come up to this one, look at this Jupiter Sagittarius opposite for Uranus. It's at 26 degrees. Here you go. That 26 number comes up again. As I said it before, I'm born on the 26th. So whenever I see this, I always know that the Father knows where the hands are, right? The hands are not being idle. They're actually working. So even when I'm not working at my job, I'm actually working for the Father, right? And Santa Claus will be working for the Father. You know it. So basically, here we are, 26 degrees, almost 27 degrees. Sagittarius on the ascendant. So we're looking at Jupiter in the first house, ruled by Mars. And we want to look at this stuff, right? This is very important for you to look at your chart. I'm not going to get too deep on this with tonight. I thought I'd bring these up to you. This is what I've been working on today. I have a whole bunch more stuff coming tomorrow. I'm actually working on setting up my platform outside of Instagram and YouTube, so I can run everything proper, right? I have all the sites, everything's up and running. I just haven't had this time, and it's quiet right now, so I have this time to catch up on these things that the Father was just putting in my heart to do, because I have been studying a long time at this stuff, and a lot of people that know astrology like I do, and I only know what I know because the Father only dishes it out to me just a little bit each and every day, because I'm a Gemini. I have to take things in bits and pieces because my mind is a very active place. I'm taking it all in, right? So here we go, folks. It's been a very busy weekend, so I have more videos coming with more information in between everything else. I hope this helps you out and it helps you prepare of how Jupiter is going to flow, because these to know these trends, to get that 10-year plan in place, right? Because this will take us in. Where we're leaving Jupiter at right now is still a long way until he catches up with Saturn. Because remember, what we're dialing in is all the major aspects he will play until he makes his Jupiter and Saturn conjunction in 2040. So we still have yet a trine to Saturn. Whoops. Let's go back again. We have a trine to Saturn. We have several different. We have a conjunction with Pluto. He's going to catch up with Pluto within the year. He's going to do that. Then he's going to conjunct with. He's going to catch. Then I tell you what he's probably going to do next is set a trine to. He might set a trine to Gemini. We're going to see where he sets a trine when he catches up there. He might be setting the trine to Saturn and Leo. Where's he going next? I think that will be the next trine, and then there'll be the square where he'll be Jupiter and Taurus squared Saturn and Leo, or something like this. I'd have to actually look at what's going on next. I have these other charts. I just didn't upload these. I thought this would be enough for tonight, but you're getting the drift. You're figuring out how it works. I mean, if you're listening to my jabber, and you can see how I'm playing with these planets, you could start working on these dates yourself. I mean, we could be those telephoto photographers of the cosmos, checking out what's going on in the year to play, because we have to have, for the 2041 date, we really have to have a 15-year plan in place. So thank you very much, folks. I appreciate your time. I hope you don't mind my secret identity revealed. Yes, I am he. I'm Mr. Santa Claus. I'm the younger version. I'm the new age Santa. Oh yeah, you know it. I'll talk to you soon. And all the best, and catch you tomorrow on the flip side. I got lots more cards to play.